Hey y'all, it's Kareem Monet. Welcome back to my channel. I was supposed to have this video done and uploaded last week, but both sides of my family is going through deaths in the family. So we're getting through it. So I'm gonna just get right into this next part of the video. The last one I left off with my childhood and preteen years now we're going into my teenage years and adulthood. Where I left off was, I believe I was saying how I was having daddy issues, abandonment issues, things of that nature. Honestly, my depression just deepened a little bit. I wasn't suicidal anymore at this point. At this point, I was just more so, I didn't care what happened to me. I just did whatever. Not saying, I didn't just go out doing things. My parents ain't play that. I wasn't just out here doing stuff, but I'm saying like, I wasn't careful doing things, like just simple everyday things. I wasn't careful because I'm like, I don't care. I don't care if I even get hurt or whatever. My character completely changed by this point, and I feel like my depression was so bad that I started to be very extroverted instead of like my normal introvert self. So my friends that like I met in high school, they never knew me to be shy. Which is something, I mean, I'm not shy, but that's just a thing that everybody just assumes that I am. I'm just an introvert, but they never known me to be that Karima. They always know me to be like real bubbly and all that stuff because that's how I portrayed myself, trying to cover up the fact that I was literally depressed. So they literally knew nothing about my depression. I was having a lot of family issues. I was honestly just tired of everyone. Like, just growing up, like, like I told y'all, my first bullies were adult family members. You can't say anything back to them or you're being disrespectful. So at this point, I'm tired of everyone. I'm older. I already know they can't beat me. So I was just like, I'm gonna say whatever and they just gonna have to take it because I've been taking it for years. That's just how my mindset was. I was not having it at all with them anymore. So I did get the label of the disrespectful child, I'm grown, whatever. Really, I'm just sticking up for myself now. I wasn't letting them bully me anymore, and that's what their issue was. And every once in a while, like even my grandma, she like just today she tried to be a little bully and it irritated my mom, but I was just like, when you get stuff like that energy, you pay attention to it, you let them know that it bothers you, they're going to keep doing it. And it literally doesn't bother me. So it's like, I'm not even worried about it. Back to the daddy issues. I still feel like this actually. My dad was partially absent, I feel like, in my opinion, because it was no longer the everyday, no, not every day. It was no longer the every other weekend type situation where we would go with him and we would do all these things, even if it was just like something a little cheap that we do. It's just, the intended spending time with each other. That's what me and my brothers enjoyed. We would have pizza night, movie night on Friday, the day that we go with him. Saturday, we'll go do something like go to the Nolan Trail or we'll go to museums, things like that. But all of a sudden, during this time period, it stopped. And this was also around the time that he did remarry. So he ended up moving across the water. I live in Virginia. I live in the 757, so we know what across the water means. I had to think about where I live. Everybody don't have no cross the water. So my dad moved across the water. So for context, that's about 45 to an hour away. An hour might be pushing it. 45 minutes away. He moved there, so obviously, well, no. I don't feel like that should have slowed down anything. Cause like, it's not like he moved to a whole different state, it was just across the water. Like, for your kids, that should be nothing. I feel like I have that mommy issues. I tried to give her a chance multiple times. I tried to give her a chance. Like I am really trying. Like I was really trying. I was giving her a chance. I gave her maybe 3 or 4 chances, and it just wasn't, it wasn't there. And, I felt like at the time, because the last time I gave her a chance, I was an adult. But the other times, I was a child. I didn't feel like it was my place to chase her. You know what I mean? When you're with someone and they have children, and she should know because she has children. But when you're with someone and they have children, you should want to like get to know them. I feel like, isn't it a package deal? You would want to purposely like be like, hey, or for me, I'm not gonna speak for my brothers, but for me, a perfect example would be, hey, Karima, do you want to go with me and her daughter? We can go do something. Let's go have a girls' day. While the boys stay at the house, do what they do. Let's go have a girls' like. None of that happened. She wasn't really trying, and so, and then I just didn't like her character. So, but that's just my own opinion, just from the times that I've been around her. The whole daddy thing, it was just like a lot because I was a daddy's girl, and so it really did hurt my feelings. And so me and my dad did fall off eventually. How old was I? I don't even remember how old I was, but it did go into my senior year for sure. And I'm gonna tell you guys why later. I remember that. But it actually, I feel like not having the best male representations in my life affected how I dealt with guys. I had someone cheat on me, something my dad did with my mom. And then I had a guy that just had no loyalty to me at all. Like, he just did not care that much about me, I personally feel like. He cared about me to an extent. Let me say that, because I'm not gonna say he just did not care. He did. But it definitely, like, there was a cutoff. There was conditions, and I felt like I deserved better than that. And I just didn't have that good representation of how a man should treat me. I also didn't have those kind of talks with my dad. And like daddy daughter should. And this was around the time that he should have been having this conversation with me, but we kind of like started to fall off a little bit. So I was really trying to find my self-worth and these little dusty boys, and they really proved to me that I was just their preference, and they were just attracted to me. That was literally just it. And they never actually got to know me. And my male friends, they actually did get to know me, and those were ones that had crushes on me, not because I was pretty, but also because of the type of person that I am. But those guys that I was actually like pursuing, it was just all about my appearance and me being their preference. And that's just not okay for me personally. I don't like being somebody's preference, and that's the only reason why they're dating me. That feels not good at all. So then I'm going through that. I didn't really necessarily have my first talking, like we're talking, until I was a junior in high school. That did not last long, and that was completely unintentional. I'm actually very embarrassed about that. Actually, that's one thing that I'm like, wow. Just because he's literally not my type whatsoever. I don't even know what happened there. Like, I'm not even trying to be shady or nothing. I don't know what happened there, because he was literally not my type. But then I'm 17, and June 17th happens. My story time about my sexual assault, that happens. Did I say June 17th? Oh my gosh, July 17th. That assault happens. That really like catapulted my depression even more, because I was so embarrassed. I was the girl that was like, don't ever let a man do this. And I let a man do that, you know, and it's not my fault at all. But at the time I was like, wow, like there's really nothing that I could do. Like, but I had to, eventually I gave myself grace on that because, you know, that was a scary situation. But, you know, to my friends, I'm like, oh yeah, this was all consensual. And, you know, I was just like, this is consensual. And I was just embarrassed to say that I got raped. That's really the whole thing. I was just embarrassed to say that that happened to me. Like, in all my friend groups, no matter if I'm the oldest, the youngest, whatever, I always gave like big sister or mom of the group, mom friend of the group. And to say that happened to me, it was just embarrassing, you know? So I didn't really want to admit to it until later on. It really stressed me out so bad because I thought I was pregnant. I was so scared of that because like I'm 17, I'm about to go into my senior year of high school. Like I literally cannot be pregnant. Like it was just so scary and stressful for me that entire time. And that's really when I felt like, dang, like these guys only want me for one thing. Like, why can't I be more? Like, why am I not worth more? It really affected me so bad. And I really felt like I wasn't good enough to be somebody's girlfriend. Then I started to date my first boyfriend in October of that same year. And again, he literally told me, he was like, you know, the only reason I even DM'd you was because I just wanted to smash. But then I ended up liking you. I should have left then, but I did not. I did not. But again, I did not have a good representation from neither one of my parents. My dad didn't show me what a good man was supposed to be. My mom didn't show me how a woman is supposed to be, you know, standing on business with these men. Like nobody showed me any of that. So I was just like, okay, at least you like me now. Like, you know, but that didn't last long. We dated for about 3 months. And right before we broke up, that was supposed to be my court date for the sexual assault. And I think I said this in the story time about that. He didn't even come to the court date with me. And his reasoning was because I believe my court date was like at 8 a.m. And he literally said, I'm gonna be asleep, so I'm not gonna come. And it's like, my husband, he would have got up out that bed and came with me. He would have came with me to that court date. But that boyfriend he was like, I'm gonna be asleep. I'm not gonna be able to come. I'm not gonna be able to make it. And then later on that day, he was like, we gotta talk later. And I was like, okay. And that's when we broke up. The day after, when he was supposed to come and celebrate my birthday, because I celebrated my birthday a week late. He was supposed to come celebrate my birthday with me. Mind you, he didn't do anything on my actual birthday. He just had me come over, hang out with him and his friend and his cousin. They were hotboxing in the car. Nothing was done for me. Didn't even wrap my birthday or Christmas present. Just gave it to me in the package that it came in. And it wasn't even anything that I would actually wear. So that whole situation was just like, bro, these guys don't care about me. He then let some girls like come at me, like he was the cause of it. And like he just let them talk to me crazy. And it took for that same girl that I was beefing with to text him and be like, you know what, me and her still beefing, but you a beef for that. You should have defended her. It took her to say that. And she sent me the screenshots. And she was like, hey, me and you still not cool, but I had to check him. On some like real girl power stuff. Like it took her to check him for him to apologize to me. And I accepted the apology, but I knew it wasn't genuine because it took her to tell you that you was wrong. When I told you, I've been told you was wrong for not defending me. I started talking to other guys again. Again, not really thinking about like, are these guys really good for me? And they was not. I get into the second boyfriend that cheated on me. I just did not have the best of luck with men. And I was really ashamed of it because it's like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Now I know what's best for me. I don't tolerate BS. I do not at all. Like, I cannot, because especially now that I have a baby, like my mental health is more important. And if you're not going to treat me like a queen, like, there's no reason to be together. And that's why I'm grateful for my husband now, because he definitely like showed me different, for real. Also, while I'm going through breakups, I went through two boyfriend breakups, and I went through two best friend breakups. Everything back to back to back to back. Like, this time period was crazy. And that was also the time that me and my dad also fell out, like completely fell out. And so like my first best friend, you guys all seen her on this channel. The first one I fell out with was her. We mentioned why we fell out. I mean, we could do a story time on it, but we did mention, you know, it was some things going on and I just wasn't agreeing with it. And I was just like, hey, I'm done with it, with the friendship. And then the second best friend breakup, that was extremely hurtful because we were actually coming up on 10 years of friendship. And we had been having problems for a minute. And I just wanted her to be a good friend to me. Like I guess, I don't know. We just wasn't on the same page, I guess you could say. And I just didn't feel like she had my back when she was supposed to, when I always had her back behind her back. You know, like, I feel like it was too much that her other friends were doing in her face, that she wasn't like, hold on, don't do all that because that's my best friend. Like, she would just like look and not say anything. But whenever it was her, I would be like, hey, cut it. Like, because I'll drop you. Like, that's my best friend. Like, no, who are you talking to? Like, that's how I'll always be with my other friends if they ever had an issue with her. And I literally stopped being friends with somebody over her. And I don't take that back because that girl was kind of crazy. But but I stopped being friends with somebody because of her, because they didn't respect her and they was trying to replace her. And I was like, girl, you're doing too much. That girl was a lot, but I just didn't get that same energy from her. And I found out that we weren't friends anymore from after, well, when we graduated, we took pictures with each other, you know, in our cap and gowns. And then I see on Instagram, she posts her solo pictures. And she's like, I didn't even get to take pictures with any of my friends today, when we literally got pictures with me and her other supposed to be best friend. And I posted those pictures because all three of us look good, but she said she didn't have no pictures with her friends. So I thought, okay. And then her birthday is the same month of graduation. So I heard of no birthday plans. And next thing I know, I see on Snapchat, she hanging out with her other friends for her birthday. And I texted her, I was like, you ain't tell me nothing. Like, what are you doing? And that started a whole like argument, and we wasn't friends anymore. And I was like, wow. And that I actually cried about, because she was my first like official stable friend after because like I said, my dad was in the military. So coming back here, it took me, I came back here first grade, but it took me until fourth grade meeting her for me to have like a real stable friend. And, you know, someone that I actually liked, you know, like everybody else I wasn't really feeling long enough, or like they just wasn't. And also like moving to different schools too. I was also moved to different schools. I wasn't just having like failed friendships. Like I was moving different schools. But so she was my first like official friend at that time. And so that, it really did hurt my feelings, and I really did cry about it, because I was like, dang, like I feel like she didn't really discuss her true feelings with me at all. And it took for her to, like, when she was completely done, for her to say anything at all. And so it's like, did you even want to be my friend to begin with? Because if you did, then we would have been discussed your issues. You know what I mean? Because I was discussing my issues. So, you know, it just hurt my feelings. So we fell out real bad. And best friend, I don't care. I wanna. It's not even an unpopular opinion. Best friend breakups hurt way more. They hurt 10 times worse than a romantic breakup. And those are your friends. Like, some of the people that you just thought that you were going to like be friends for the rest of your lives. Like, we were each other's maid of honor. She was my kid's godparent or godmom. I was her kid's godmom. Like, you know, those type of friends. And then just for it to, and for just like how ours did, it was like a complete cut off, a complete end. Like, that really, really, really hurt my feelings. So friendship breakups are worse. But me and my other bestie that you guys obviously see on this channel, we here. And what's so crazy is the people that, when me and her fell out, people that are no longer in my life tried to tell me back then, I told you she's not really your friend, this and that, and she's not a good person, but she's the only one still in my life right now. The rest of them are not in my life. And she has always been the realest friend that I have ever had. The realest. I trust her with my life. I literally had to trust her with my life, like in April. I trust her with my life. I trust her around anybody around me, because she is really that good of a person. So, you know, shout out to her. But I really feel like a lot of the time, out of romantic relationships, out of friendships, it's just a lot of me supposedly wanting too much out of those relationships. And like, no, I don't think that I was really wanting too much. All I asked for was for loyalty, for us to love each other, because we're supposed to be friends, or boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, we're supposed to be each other's people, you know? We're supposed to have each other's back. I don't feel like that's asking for too much. And I just wasn't okay with settling. I'm glad I don't settle, because I'm here where I'm at now. And by the time I broke up with my second boyfriend, the one that cheated, my depression had hit like rock bottom. And at that point, I was like crying for help. Like, my friends were like DMing me, texting me like, "Are you okay?" Everybody was like genuinely worried about me, and I was literally being straight up with them. I was like, "Bro, I just want to die." Like, I was being straight up. Like, y'all don't even realize how depressed I have been this entire time. I could just tell from their responses that it really broke their hearts hearing that from me. Because like I said, I just was not that friend. I was always the bubbly, happy friend. And, you know, sometimes you got to check up on those friends, because you just never know what they're going through. And they did not know. And a lot of people just was like, but you're so strong, and yeah, but I was still going through things that I was going through, and I was not talking about it. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the things that I was posting, and it was very alarming. Like, I'm gonna see if I can go back and find some stuff. Am I able to go back in my story that far back? I don't know. I'll see. In my story archives, But the posts, they were very alarming. And it even had my old best friend that we just deaded it. It even had her, like, people were contacting her, telling them what I was posting and to check on me. And she came and she was like, what's going on? She came and checked on me because it was that alarming. That was such a hard time. And my mom, being her, thinking she know everything, thought it was over my ex that I had just broke up with, and it literally was not. And she even said to me one time, she was like, instead of just walking her own son to school, she was like, walk your brother to school. And I was like, honestly, I don't feel like it. And she was like, okay, if somebody kidnaps your brother, that's gonna be your fault. You over here crying about a boy, but not worried about if your brother gets to school safe. I was like, whoa. Mind you, I'm on my period, so I'm bleeding crazy right now because stress. And that is what you said to me. And it's not even over him. It's over the stuff that I've been telling you and my father for years. But I was really to the point where, like, there was, like I just said, I was on my period. And I had changed my pad. And then, sorry, just TMI, but it's a period. It's life. I was on my period and I had just changed my pad. And when I tell you, it has not even been 10 minutes. It was not even 10 minutes. I had sat down on the couch. 10 minutes later, I get up to go and do something, and I look down and I have blood on the couch. And I immediately, like, got scared that I got blood on the couch. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm telling my mom, like, I'm so sorry. I don't know how that happened because it was so much blood. I was like, I don't know how that happened. I just changed my pad. And I went, oh my God, this is making me so emotional because it's like I was stressed so much that I was bleeding that much. And I went to go and change my pad, and it was like the pad was full. Like, I just changed it. I was bleeding that much. That was the darkest time of my life, I swear. That I had never had that happen before. Even with all the things that I had gone through previously, that has never happened to me before. So it was so scary. My mom, she could tell that it scared me so bad. She was like, it's okay. Like, just get some soap and clean it off. It's okay. It's gonna come off. And I just felt so bad that I got it on the couch. And I'm like, why am I bleeding like this? Oh my God. That was so freaking alarming. Like, oh my gosh. So, man, I made it through it. Made it through this whole thing. Now I'm crying. So now at this point, I'm 18. I'm out of high school. By the time all that happened, I finally told my mom that that whole rape situation was a rape and not me actually wanting to. She had just found out. And at that point, it was a year and a half later. And a few weeks later, I meet my husband. We will be doing a story time on that too. Like, just so we can get both of our point of views, But I ended up meeting him. My whole life completely changed. Then, because at that point I was praying heavy. I was like, God, like, I just want to get out of this situation that I'm in, like, mentally, and remove people that you need to remove and give me people that I need to have. I started to have problems at church with the ministry that I'm a part of, which I gave you guys a story time about that too. That whole situation was just like so freaking messy and catty, and I'm glad we're all past that now. But it was just like, it was so catty, and I still fully feel like it was the adults in the situation, like kind of egging it on, because it was a lot of situations that was kind of blown up, things, you know, being told to me that could have been true, could not have been true, but I don't know. But, you know, as the adults, it should not have been done. And like I said in that story time, I just really wanted to leave that church because I had a lot of church hurt, some of it coming from that situation. So, like, church hurt is definitely something serious. Like, it is extremely hurtful from people that are supposed to be more like God and loving. I would say, like, problems at this point, the only beef I was in was the church thing. Like, I hadn't had like a real beef since high school, and it will be situations where people that I love would get into situations, and I would involve myself, and it would become me a part of the beef, and it literally had nothing to do with me, but because I love them, I would get involved. And, you know, silence is best. So it was never actually, I know it could have been like, oh, Karema's name is always in something, but it literally wasn't. It was never my beef, you know? So I like to think of myself as unproblematic, honestly. I was just inserting myself. And I just shouldn't have. And, you know, those people should, hopefully, I would hope they would have understood if I just decided not to involve myself. Because, like, this is my character we're talking about here. And that is very important to me. And it did have people look at me, like, kind of sideways. Even though, like, what I was saying was right. But just, you know, drama, you know, messiness. And I found myself to start becoming, I wouldn't say shady, because I don't shade nobody. I say straight up what it is. But just, you know, it was just becoming messy, like, and I don't like that. I have no desire to be messy or petty, or I have no desire to be any of that. So I also started getting into astrology, and I now understand that that is definitely witchcraft and you should not be doing it. But I know my entire chart. Like, I was really getting into it. I know my entire chart. And, you know, like saging, and I was doing that. Like, it was just things that, like, I was just getting into, and I could see it directly affecting me negatively. And I just... And not even like major. It's just like affecting me spiritually. Like, I feel like I was not straying away from God. I wouldn't say that, but straying away from the things I'm supposed to be doing, and straying away from my actual purpose in this world and what God put me up here for. And I was doing things of the world, validation from the world. And I don't care about this world. I don't want validation from this world. I want validation from God. So, but I was doing that a lot. Like, why am I giving all this power to something that literally does not matter, instead of giving all this power to God, because he is the most powerful one? Like, these zodiacs don't mean anything. Like, literally don't mean anything at all. Yo, my baby is sick. I did decide that I want to change my life around back in, I want to say 2021. I was like, I really want to. Like, I want to do this. Like, because I know, but I come from a Christian family. Like, I want to, you know, do this. I'm trying to make it to heaven. and be with God. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want God to be able to say, I am proud of you. I don't want him to say he don't know me. That is like my worst nightmare. I don't want him to say, I don't know you, depart from me. Like, that is so scary. And I was like, I gotta get right. And then I started to. I wanted to read the Bible, you know, from Genesis to Revelation. Read it like a regular book. And I started to do that. Then I stopped. I was still wearing extremely revealing clothing. Still have my crop tops or like baby tees, but there was like clothing that was just like too much, and I would just rather like just get rid of it. Like, I still have it all, but I'm trying to go through it and just get rid of it. I was still listening to certain kind of music and still cussing and a lot of different things that just isn't of God. But I was like, yo, I really do want to get my life together. And, you know, then I started to pray a lot more, because I actually, even back then, I prayed to God throughout the day. Like, I talked to God throughout the day, but I really started to. And I started to like not have the desire to wear certain things. Like, I was telling my husband one time, no, he had asked me one time. He was like, how come you don't wear that one shirt anymore? And I really like that shirt. And I was like, I don't know, I don't think it's my style anymore. And at the time, I was just saying, you know, it's just not my style anymore. I wasn't understanding what was actually going through, what was happening spiritually to me. But I was just like, you know, it's just not my style anymore. But now I realized, like, God was really shifting me. And I just didn't have the desire to wear it. I don't have the desire to wear certain things. I listen to certain things, watch certain things, say certain things. I don't do any of that. And I started to have more attacks on my life. Some major, some not. And, you know, one thing I've learned, you know, the enemy tries to attack, or try to not even always attack, but like distract people that are trying to live their life for God, or people that are living their life for God, because you see how he tempted Jesus, right? So that's crazy. So, you know, it was a lot of temptation he was throwing my way. I could probably say, like, he don't be winning. He don't be winning that fight now. He doesn't necessarily have to keep trying to tempt people that are living for the world, because they're already doing what he wants them to do. Then my brain surgery happened, and that's when everything just clicked for me. I was like, yeah, I am getting right, because I wasn't scared at all, but it was just like that whole situation just showed me even more how good God is, and how merciful and gracious he is. And it just, and these are things that I already knew, of course. Like, of course I already knew that. But looking at it as an adult lenses, it's just like, bro, like, this is real. Like, he really said, like, watch me work, and he did his thing. The whole situation was just too random for everything to just be a coincidence. You know, that was completely God's doing. Completely. And I just felt a complete shift in my life spiritually. And I was still like cussing here and there, but that only lasted like a couple months. Like, when I say I was like really changing my life around after that situation. Like, he showed me time and time again that he's too good, and for me to like always put him on the back burner, absolutely not. That is so disrespectful, and I'm just not willing to do that no more. Like, he is first priority. And when I say first priority, I don't mean like what a lukewarm Christian would say. Like, I mean, he is number one priority. I talk to him every day. I try my best to read the Bible every single day. I be mad when I be reading, because I read the Bible on my phone mostly, and I be mad when my little streaks be messed up because I missed a day. But yeah, I just, and there's been things that have been tempting me, like certain situations. Like there's a situation right now where I would love to be that big sister, but I literally cannot, because I cannot let that deter me from what I am trying to do in my life. And I have a baby now, and like the things that I want to do is just not going to be good for me in the long run, and not good for my baby. And I just, honestly, I just want to be that good example for people around me. I want, when people look at me, I want them to see like God's work. I just want God to speak through me. Like you can tell I am God's child, like I'm living for him. But in the most beautiful way possible. Like not one of those not one of those Christians, you know what I mean? The ones that give us a bad name, but like, just someone that you genuinely want to be around. And I just want to be that good example for people and spread God's word. And, I feel like I've been doing a good job, even because my family, we're all Christian. And I'm not going to judge their own personal journeys with it. But they not all the way together, okay? They not all the way together. I'm praying for them. The things that have been said just in our group chat today, I am praying for them people, okay? And I could just tell, like, even my best friend, she's like, when she slip up and cuss in front of me, she's like, "Oop, I'm sorry." Like, she's like, just today, she like texted like a cuss word. And she was like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't want you to read it in your head, because then you'll accidentally be cussing." And I'm like, like, I love that. And that she even thought about that. And I just, I'm praying for them though. I pray that they turn their life around too, because, people think that they could just do, and I'm not just talking about my family. I'm talking in general, but people think that they could just say, I believe in God and I worship God, and still be in the world and think that that's okay. And, it's not okay. It's not okay, because God is still like, "What you doing? Like, that ain't cool. Like, what are you doing? I don't approve of that," whatever. I just want to be a better person. I don't want to be known as my past. I want you to, when you come around me, to be able to really feel the difference. Like if you knew me before, I want you to be able to feel the difference, because I feel the difference in myself, and I'm proud of myself. I really am. I've really come a long way, and it really makes me emotional. I really came a long way, and I'm happy about that. I stay prayed up. You pray without ceasing. Even when there's like drama going on, like, because I was always in drama, and majority of the time it was not even my drama. And, you might want to be like, just get revenge and all that, but also remember, vengeance is the Lord's. Let him handle that. You ain't gotta do nothing. Let him handle that. And when I finally learned that, everything has been much more peaceful. Like, again, the situation that's happening right now, I could have been pressed the issue. I could have been pressed somebody about my brother. But I was like, you know what? No, because God is going to handle that. He got his hand all over that. He's going to handle that. Like, because you can't do things and expect it to go unnoticed by God, because it's never going to go unnoticed. And that's why you also got to be careful of what you do when you're trying to get revenge, because what you do is also not going to go unnoticed, even though you could be the victim. God still wants us to keep our good character, not stoop low to their level. That is all that I have to say about my story. I feel like it did calm down a little bit in this part, like getting into my adulthood. And I pray, you know, it's only up from here. And like I said, I want to take you guys on my Christian journey, my true Christian journey where I'm actually living the word. I can't believe I forgot a couple points. My mommy brain has been like just doing the most. So first, I forgot to mention that my mother and I, the reason why our relationship was always so tumultuous is because we would always also have like a whole bunch of screaming matches, like to the point where I would lose my voice, my throat was like hurting. So like we would often have it, and my husband even witnessed some of them. So and then it would cause my brothers to get defensive over me as well, because we are very defensive over each other, and that's just how we were raised. It was, I can't even say, like, it was just how we were raised, to always have each other's back no matter who is against us. Also, a very important part of my adulthood, having postpartum depression. I cannot believe I forgot that, actually. I didn't realize I had postpartum depression after I had my baby, and it took my mom to have to point it out to me. And it really would get worse every time. Like this whole video, I've been kind of, you know, just transparent. So I'm just say, not all my in-laws, but some of my in-laws are not the best. And they would like always judge me and get upset with me for a lot of things. And some of the things wasn't even things that I was doing. It was just my husband just didn't want them coming over. And I would get blamed for every little thing when it's like I didn't even know this was going on. And so my husband had to eventually like, hey, Karima's not doing this. This is me, and you guys got to cut it out. Basically, in a nutshell. Still, he wasn't like taken seriously. So it did cause a lot of my postpartum. I've been told so many like really mean things that apparently nobody remembers. But I've been called fat right after having my baby. I've been told that I'm not doing anything when I'm literally trying to adjust to motherhood because I'm a first-time mom. I keep my baby away from them, and that's literally not the case at all. There was a problem with me sleeping when he slept, and it's like, bro, my doctor it's like everybody has children and they forgot how these things work. Like my doctor was literally telling me, if you want to, if you can, if it's possible, sleep while your newborn sleeps. So that's what I was doing whenever it was possible for me to do. But apparently it was BS that I was sleeping all the time, and it was a problem that I wasn't answering the phone. And it's like, I'm literally trying to raise a little human. I'm trying to keep a little human alive. Like that was a whole like stressful time for me. And technically I'm still in postpartum. I don't have postpartum depression anymore, but I'm still in my postpartum period technically. And it really took my husband to have to like really be like, look, y'all have got to stop. Because even after I had my surgery, it was still so much going on that they had problems with. And it's like, it was so inconsiderate considering I literally just had brain surgery. Like I'm literally, me and my husband were literally not thinking about anyone else except for my well-being. And of course our baby, but my well-being. Verbatim, I'm not even putting words in this person's mouth, but verbatim, they said, oh, it was just a cyst. It wasn't anything serious. It was not just a cyst. It was a cyst and a tumor. And regardless, anytime someone is cutting open my head, going to my brain, that is very serious. Like, it was just a lot. And then one more point I forgot to bring up about my stepmom. When I said that, like, she doesn't try, I did not go into depth about it. I mean, like, nothing she shows up for. You know, my dad was like, you know, she buys things. It's like, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I'm the type of person that does not care about materialistic things. I love time spent together. And she only came to one of my dance performances, which she was literally caught by a few people just staring at my mom the whole time. That was the last time she came to my dance performance. I had met her then. That was it. She didn't come to my graduation. She didn't come to my wedding. She didn't check up on me. when I had my surgery, when I had my baby, none of that. She didn't come to my baby shower, nothing. So that is why I have the feelings I have. And what I mean by I'm not a fan. But that's everything that I missed, I believe. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.